Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mario Kart 64 All Cup Skips Tournament. Tonight it is a 2v2 qualifier match between Obiyo and DangerMoll. Winner will go through to the quarterfinals, loser will be eliminated. So very important obviously for both racers. Should be potential for a pretty close race tonight, so we will get right into it and I will count them down. Alright, should be seeing them start momentarily. See Obiyo getting in that last minute practice on WARIO Stadium. Just waiting for the stream delay. So a bit of history on these two. Obviously haven't played each other yet this tournament by design. They're both best races so far. Obiyo had a 30.07 and Moll had a 30.46, so definitely potential for a good close race tonight. Get them synced up. So Luigi Raceway, Moll going backwards at the start to mess with the checkpoints. Gets a star though, has to just continue. Or well, actually, the strat Moll does. He would have continued anyways. He's not going for red shells. He needs to get up to the front. Didn't see what strat Obiyo was using at the start. Looks like he's gonna continue on. Obiyo getting the blue shell, so is Moll. Both get it cleanly. Can be a surprisingly difficult part of this track, just getting that blue shell. Pretty much tied going into the tunnel. So you're going to see blue shell tracks first place. It will just turn around and smack both of them. Obiyo on the US version falls through into the tunnel. Moll on the Japanese version gets stuck on top, which is why he messed with the checkpoints earlier. And as you can see, finishes with a 1:14. He's going to take the early lead just from that version advantage. Otherwise, pretty much the same race from both of them if they'd been on the same version. Worth noting too, Moll is using Peach while Obiyo is using Yoshi. Peach, Yoshi, and Toad all have the exact same stats. The exception being Toad is very slightly lighter, so gets bounced around more. Yoshi is the fastest to pick on the character screen, but it is pretty minimal time loss, so there are some players who choose to use one of the other two characters, Moll favoring Peach. Ooh, Obiyo gets bolted. So there is a 1 in 100 chance that the 8th place CPU can pull a bolt when they call for an item. So very unlucky for him. Loses about 4 seconds when it's just non-shortcut driving, but on some other courses it can stop you from doing a shortcut and lose much more than that. So in a way, in this category, if you're going to get a bolt, you want it on a non-shortcut track. Mole has a shroom, never used it though, until the very end. I mean, not a crazy choice. Using the shroom, fastest way is usually to try to go through the moles. There are some safe ways of doing that, but it is definitely a risk. Mole early on looking like he's going to go for consistency over out-and-out speed. Can certainly be a winning strategy in this tournament. So Koopa Beach, another one with no shortcuts. Mole missing the start boost there. The tunnel jump on Koopa Beach, you see Mole coming up to now. Is considered non-shortcut. It is an intended path through the game. And then I believe Mole doesn't go for the... oh, maybe? Okay, yeah, Mole doesn't go for the 8th place item glitches. So I think Obiyo does though, so you should be able to see him. There's a mismatched polygon just to the right of the flag, the finish line. He misses the item boxes, so doesn't get to go for it, but there is a mismatched polygon. If you drive onto it, the game thinks you're an entire lap further back than you are, so it thinks you're in 8th place, and will give you an 8th place item if you trigger it while you're on that polygon. I'd probably see Obiyo go for it again. He's looking for, obviously, a star would be the best option, but also golden shroom and triple shrooms are also very nice. Looks like he's not going to go for a lap 2, electing to just drive around. Spins out on the uneven ground. Mole, meanwhile, just getting all kinds of shrooms. Finishes with a very solid 121. So best case scenario on the finish line glitch is to get 2 stars, which saves a total of about 4 seconds over not doing it. So it is a minimal thing. So Calamari Desert can be a pretty big time swing. You do need specific items to do the shortcuts on this track, so you are kind of at mercy of the RNG. Mole unfortunately getting a gold shroom, which is the worst item to get because you have to wait for it to run out before you can pick up another item. Obiyo, meanwhile, gets triple reds, gets rid of them. Not surprising. Triple reds are not a strat that everyone's going to go for. Mole, though, looks like he is going to keep them. Gets rid of them, keeps the blue shell. Probably not a bad decision. Well, okay, I might have kept the blue shell, but there's also a chance he wouldn't have been in first by the time he got around. Mole just waiting for the star. There you go. So you can see on Obiyo's screen he already did it. What happens is it's actually an Easter egg in the game that if you drive through the tunnel with a star active, the finish line operates in the tunnel. It basically extends all the way into the tunnel. So what we do is we abuse that fact by going in backwards like Mole is doing now, turning around and triggering the star. So on the way in, because we have no star active, the finish line isn't active. Turn around, trigger the star, finish line suddenly active. They just didn't expect anyone to decide to go in the tunnel backwards first. It's definitely an Easter egg, yeah, it's actually in the instruction manual. So Obiyo resetting the game at the end of the track. We do that to skip the trophy ceremony. And yeah, very slight lead for Obiyo. This is another track that people can struggle with. So Mole, as you'll notice, is actually using Bowser for Flower Cup. He let us know he was going to do this just before we went live. And the reason is there have been a lot of new shortcuts going on recently. specifically with Toad's Turnpike. And because of that, there have been times within the last few days, last week or so, where Bowser was actually the preferred character on this track. And so Mole has gotten so used to jumping in with Bowser that he said he was struggling with the lightweights. So he's going to take the minimal time loss it takes using Bowser. Bowser is the next best after the lightweights in terms of driving, to get the consistency on Toad's Turnpike, which is a much bigger potential time loss than just using Bowser. So it looks like Obiyo actually didn't get the trick properly on lap 1, so it didn't work laps 2 and 3. Mole did, however, so they are basically tied. Ooh, Obiyo hitting a car. You could hear by the little sort of screeching sound that he was actually about to spin out. That lovely 150cc mechanic. A bit too much input on the stick and you spin out. So Mole taking the lead back. And already this lead that he has right now is more than what Obiyo would catch up the rest of the cup by using the lightweight. So it is just down to the shortcuts really at this point. You can see Mole saving about 16 seconds on this track. Then on to Flower Cup, one of the easiest, actually the easiest shortcut in the game. See what he decides to do with Bowser. You don't actually have to avoid the CPUs, because Bowser just bulldozes right through them if you were to shroom. But yeah, just go off the bridge into the snow without touching the road. And the game puts you back on the bridge a lap ahead. Mole spinning out into the out of bounds. Works just fine. Actually, now that I think about it, oh, Obiyo with the shock dodge. He was still just barely being held by Lakitu when the bolt came down. But I wonder if the spin out mechanic, when you're spinning out, you're set to a very specific speed. It's actually a strat if you're small from a lightning. If you get hit by a banana, you actually go faster in the spin out than the driving. I wonder if spinning out off-road is faster than driving off-road. Probably been tested before. But yeah, Choco, we go from the easiest shortcut to one of the most inconsistent shortcut tracks. Mole is going to go for this wall jump with Bowser, gets it clean. Obiyo looks like not even trying the hill jump, just going for the gray wall, hits it nicely. Can definitely be the better option if you're not super consistent at the hill jump. Oh, Mole just doesn't get enough height with Bowser. Bowser does jump slightly lower, so that is going to be, this track is going to be slightly more difficult. But as you can see, obviously still possible with Bowser. So Obiyo now taking the lead back with his clean gray wall jump. That is Choco for you. Ahead by a couple corners. Mole probably making the good decision to just drive around non-shortcut after failing the gray jump a bit a couple times. And Mole again, just going to go around non-shortcut. Probably the right decision. You can see the CPU is pretty close to him, doesn't want to rank out. So Mole essentially a result screen behind. So Mario Raceway, another one with some pretty difficult shortcuts. I would expect probably both of these players to just drive this non-shortcut. If they get a shroom, they might go for the wall jump. See what Obiyo decides. There is an item manipulation on this track as well. You have to take a specific route around the track. Obiyo not taking that route, so I would expect he's not going for the item manipulations either. So just a purely non-shortcut from Obiyo. If he gets a shroom, we'll see what he decides to do with that. Moll is going the path that takes you to the item manipulation. So by taking a specific path and hitting that, triggering the item on the side of the pipe, he gets an 8th place item. Gets a blue shell, which is the absolute worst option you could possibly get. Obiyo with a shroom, we'll see if he goes for the shortcut. No, he's just going to drive a non-shortcut. If you're not confident in that wall jump, it is not an easy thing to go for. Definitely don't want to just pull it out if you haven't practiced it. Or even if you have practiced it and you're just not consistent at it. Moll just holding on to the blue shell. Not a bad idea. The walls are a little bit far away. You might miss and just nail yourself. So Obiyo starting Wario Stadium, one of the worst shortcut tracks in 150cc, just because it can be incredibly inconsistent. Misses that jump back over the wall, gets over clean second try. So Moll is about 25 seconds back right now, but Obiyo struggling to get over. Could now Moll's just 2 jumps away from being tied again. Oh, gets stuck on top. That is the risk of going for a bit more of a flat angle like that. Obiyo gets bolted on Wario Stadium. That's a really bad one. Pretty much just has to wait for the bolt to expire now. Moll over, he's 1 jump behind Obiyo. And now they are tied. Obiyo gets over clean, so does Moll. Only a couple seconds in it now. See Moll saving 24 seconds on that track. Such is the wonderfulness that is Wario Stadium. So Sherbet Land, first track in a while, no shortcuts. Just some clean driving from both players, ideally. Hopefully get some shrooms. The penguins are on cycles, so they should know exactly where they're going to be. That, of course, changes as soon as you hit one. Or get a shroom. You can also throw off the cycles a little bit. Obiyo getting the shroom can be a bit risky because, especially on lap 2, the penguins tend to be a bit in the way. Oh, and he hits one of the small ones outside. Pretty much tying it up with Moll now because of that. Obiyo saving the shroom, but hits another penguin. So Moll with the slight lead again. This race so back and forth. Moll with those green shells can be really valuable. The CPUs love to put items right in the tunnel, which is really difficult to avoid sometimes. Playing it pretty safe around the penguins. But he is going to continue his lead into the next track. Oh, almost spins out from 150cc. Goes for a bit of a swag finish. So still only a couple seconds in it as we head to Royal Raceway. So there are new shortcuts on Royal Raceway involving going backwards at the start to mess with some checkpoints and some red shells, similar to other tracks, but very new and very difficult, so unsurprisingly neither player going for it. We'll see them just after this little U-turn, gonna fly off into the water and hit the bank. Ooh, Obiyo, I think probably hit the wall there, had to turn around. And didn't make the shortcut either, so he's gonna have to set that up again. Loses about 10 seconds. Oh, and he misses it again, doesn't get the jump off. Oh, and he hits too far left this time. Losing a lot of time now to Moll. Gets it finally. He's a lap behind now though. So we'll see if Obiyo goes for the second shortcut, Moll not going for it, so neither going for it. You can fly off to the side, off that ramp, and head left. And if you hit the right spot, you can warp to about where Moll is now. Obiyo getting a star. Getting a double star. So that's going to help him out. Pretty unlikely he would have been in trouble with the CPUs anyways, but still helpful. Moll there, I think, might have been too far right. Yeah, it was a bit too far right on the bank. Oh, and he misses the jump as well. I think he's aiming at the wrong spot there. Yeah, so he misses it as well. There is a bit of a dark line you're aiming for. He was aiming for the wrong one. Gets it there, so yeah, giving back some of the time. Obiyo going for the red shell. Probably doesn't know Moll's been struggling. And yeah, the CPU's passed him, so the red shell doesn't act the same. Went straight for the CPU rather than the bit of a delay. So losing a lot of the time back that Moll kind of handed to him. A bit unfortunate because I think Obiyo missed it 3 times and Moll missed it twice, so would have only been about a net loss of about 10 seconds. But the stream delay is quite large on SpeedGaming, so might not have realized Moll was struggling until he'd already decided to do the red shell. If he's even listening. Some players don't. I believe actually Moll doesn't listen to commentary. So Bowser's Castle, no shortcuts on this one either. The thwomps are on cycles, but CPUs love to put items in the most horrific of places. Sometimes you have no option but to just fly into the lava. Moll with a shroom, which is really nice on this track, hits the bush, but still a net gain. Getting a shroom does throw off the thwomps ever so slightly, but a lot of players will just know what the cycles are even with a shroom. Hits a banana into a thwomp. It's worth noting too, the CPUs are close to him, and when the CPUs are close by, they actually throw a lot more items. So Wario there is much more likely to start chucking items around than it would be if he was further back on the track. Moll with another shroom. He's got a lot of shrooms on the non-shortcut tracks, been getting some good RNG in that sense. Oh, and he gets hit with a bolt! Lots of lightning going on in this race. Finally starting to even up a little bit. Spins out on the wall. Obiyo looking like his race has been pretty clean, so yeah, no items in the horrible place before the bridge, so should be pretty clean to the end. So definitely would have gained some time on Moll there. Let's see, Moll with about a 23:04 at the reset. Heading into Special Cup, final cup of the game. And, we got Obiyo, 23:18, so about 14 seconds between them. We'll see at the back, or at the start of DK, go backwards. They're going to line up. There's a sort of badly put together polygon seam, and the finish line actually extends into the out of bounds area. So Moll there, crossing the finish line out of bounds, falling in the water. Game puts him back in the tunnel a lap ahead. Obiyo doing the same into the water. There is a faster version where you clip back inbounds after triggering the lap, but it is safer to just go into the water. Safer and probably more consistent as well. Obiyo not really going for setups, just kind of YOLOing into the water. Gonna save some time doing that. Obviously a little bit riskier. Especially Moll is actually setting up pretty quickly with these, so gonna be a minimal time save. But yeah, both get it all three clean. Very solid. Moll with a 58. And Obiyo with a high 55, so saving about 3 seconds doing his sort of semi-setup. Very nicely done. So Yoshi Valley, you'll see both players, or you would expect both players to do the far right side shortcut, where you take this far right path, Moll immediately getting a shroom, which is very nice for him. And if you take this far right path, the checkpoints get a little weird, and the finish line happens to extend out into the canyon, and you pass by. And if you hit the wall in a specific spot, you actually cross the finish line in the canyon and get placed backwards halfway across the lap as well. Don't know why. But both players have shrooms now. Obiyo with 3 of them can save a little bit of time. Ooh, falls off on hairpin though. I think Moll didn't even attempt hairpin, just went around. Moll finding the spot pretty quickly. I know he struggles a bit with his vision to be able to see that spot. Looks good. I think that should work for the lap skip. And it does nicely. So Obiyo now setting it up. Lining up on a slightly different spot than normal, but yeah, it has the setup, so works well. So that's another one. The game, checkpoints are weird, finish lines are weird. Hit a specific spot in the canyon and it skips a lap. And yeah, pretty much down to Rainbow Road. Banshee Boardwalk can go pretty bad. Tight track, CPUs like to put items in some pretty bad places, but typically not going to be enough to catch up the gap that there is now. But Rainbow Road is always a lottery in a pressure situation like this, so definitely anyone's game. You see the CPUs trying their best to snipe him with some bananas. Yoshi taking it, though. Hitting his own banana. At least I think that's what I heard. Moll as well with the blockers, so he's just gonna probably smartly hold on to those shells, have some protection. Something I often do on this track as well, actually. Oh, and you can see Obiyo just hitting that drop, blind, banana right on the landing. No option to, no chance to avoid it. And yeah, again, Toad, Peach, and Yoshi are all the exact same. Yoshi's faster to pick on the character screen, but it's minimal, so some players choose to use one of the other two as well. So Mole going into Rainbow Road with a little bit of a buffer, but I mean, it's about as big as one missed green shell, probably. Certainly missing the start jump will catch Obiyo right up. Both with a very similar Banshee Boardwalk time. So Mole doing probably the most famous shortcut in the game, jumping off to the left, off Rainbow Road, nails it. So now he is looking for green shells. Obiyo as well. Nailing that start jump. Mole getting pretty much every item that isn't a green shell. There we go, finally gets his first one. Obiyo as well, struggling a bit to get a green shell. Gets triple greens. That is the theoretically the best option. There are some players, like myself, who struggle with the green shells, the triple reds, and prefer the single green. Triple greens, sorry, not reds. There is a red shell skip on this track, but neither player going for it. Not yet anyways. Mole does need a green shell pretty quickly here. Gets it. Probably only got one more chance at this before he has to either drive around or do the red shell strat. Alright, hits it the second time. So now he's got all the time in the world to find more greens. Obiyo hits it, already has his green shells. So Mole has to find a green shell or hope Obiyo misses. Gets a fake, gets a green. Obiyo gets one of his greens taken by a CPU. This is coming down to the wire. Obiyo, ooh, I don't know if he's gonna get that. Oh, he misses! Mole has a chance to take it right here. And hits it. Oh, and Obiyo hit the green shell on the second go? What? I totally missed what happened on Obiyo's screen. Obiyo gets placed further up. Obiyo takes it. Oh my god. Wow. What an insane end. Definitely need to try to get these guys in for an interview on that one. Hey, Paul.
Hello, hello.
Wow,
Just
what a race.
saw the end of that. I flicked over. I actually flicked over while I was mid-air on my second green, which is why I didn't manage to stop my timer away from it. And then I watched it, and it was wow. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that green later, he got a closer spawn to the finish line.
Yeah, that was the difference, because you guys pretty much got picked up by Lakitu at the same time.
Yeah, I watched the laps like trigger at identical times, the pickups almost. It was, yeah, that looks like it was crazy. I mean, had a couple of adventures. Royal Raceway was probably my downfall in that, but I expect the BO had his bad tracks as well. So
Yeah, he struggled on Royal Raceway for sure.
I think it took me 4 attempts on the third lap of Royal Raceway. First time I just missed it. The second time, like both my triple tap and my R button didn't seem to want to work.
Yeah.
Third time I lined it up against completely the wrong spot.
Yeah, I think Obiyo pretty much did the same thing, but then he didn't know you had done that, so he actually tried the red shell skip on lap 3 and missed.
Okay, I was fishing for a star. I lost about 20 seconds on KD.
Yeah.
Is the other bad one. I mean, there were obviously mistakes here and there. I had to use Bowser for Flower Cup. All that Toad's Turnpike shortcut stuff over the weekend we were doing with Bowser. I can no longer jump into a fence with Peach. It's just impossible. And I don't know if you can hear through my headset. I've got an absolutely massive thunderstorm going on at the moment.
Really? Wow.
I was kind of afraid it might kill the internet because I was hearing lightning, which sounded like it was just down the road, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to Obiyo. It's been a fun tournament.
We're gonna try to get him in.
I've enjoyed the tournament. I'm kind of glad it's over because with that time it would have been a guaranteed face up against Abney, which would really not have been a match at all, to be honest.
Hey, Obiyo.
Yeah, DangerMoll.
Yeah, congratulations. I don't know if you caught the end of that. I didn't watch the stream at all, but I flicked it up right at the end while I was sailing through the air on the second green shell, and it was wow within a few seconds. Like my timer, I stopped my timer really late because I'd clicked away and I was away from my timer, so I think there was like 3 seconds in the end.
Yeah, I think so. I only catch like last 15 seconds too. I wasn't watching the stream. I was like focusing on stuff.
Exactly the same with me.
And then I saw we were like both like falling, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be really close. But then I did the green shell skip much more
so you
ahead
got
than
the close
you.
spawn.
Yeah.
I mean, my rainbow missing the first green shell was probably the killer. Because I just don't know what I did with that one.
Yeah, it was definitely if you had hit that first green, or Obiyo had not hit it on that sort of like second attempt, which almost never happens when you miss the green shell and then go for it with the same green later on. It's so rare to see someone actually hit that. I
felt like I just had to go for it because I know for sure that I was like, it's already like not that great of a run. If I'm gonna have any chance to win, I have to hit it probably, and it turned out that I had to hit it to win. So
yeah.
I mean, my success rate when I go chasing after them like that is like 1 in 500. If I don't get it on my setup, I don't get it on any of the other ricochets.
I don't know. I guess I missed the green often, so I got like a little bit more used to like getting it later. So that probably helped. But I mean, I was still surprised that I got it and really happy that I got it.
So I take it with your current best time, you're going to be against either Abney or Matthias, I think, depending on who wins the other match and with what time they win it.
I'll take a quick look.
Because I think Obiyo's fastest time is still faster than Hattuk's, but slower than the other.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
It's gonna be either Matthias or Abney, so either way it's gonna be really hard. But I'm just happy to get into the quarterfinals. That was like my goal, and almost didn't happen, but it did.
Yeah, my main aim for this tournament was just to get a PR while I was doing it. I would have liked to have gone sub 30 at some stage, but I just didn't put the practice in the last couple of weeks. I enjoyed it, it's nice, but I think I'll enjoy getting back to doing some time trialing.
Yeah, well, congrats, Obiyo. We'll see you again in the quarterfinal, as you say, against either Abney or Matthias, which is bit of a rough matchup, but they're both certainly beatable. Anyone's beatable in this category.
I'm not sure about Abney, to be honest.
Abney needs a pretty bad run, I'll admit.
Yeah, Abney's beatable if you can drive 27 minutes.
I think me, him, and TYG were doing some races, and he had a couple races that were in the 30-minute range, but it was awful, and he wasn't super focused. I don't think so. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm against like, I mean, probably for either of those, I'm probably just gonna go all out with the strats and hope.
Yeah.
Like I'm probably gonna practice like their new red shell skips and stuff, and I should have my Japanese version by then, so I'm gonna be able to do which Raceway too,
Nice.
which I haven't been able to. So I'm just gonna go all out and hope I can somehow win, I guess.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, thank you, Smurfy, for the commentary. I'm sure it'll be fun to listen back. Pleasure playing against you, Obiyo. Best of luck in your next match. And thank you to everybody who's been watching. It's been a fun tournament. It probably won't be the end for me. I'll probably do comms on something. But for tonight, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody and leave.
Yeah, thank you for the race, and thank you for the commentaries, Murphy.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thanks everyone watching. The next match on SpeedGaming is, I believe, Haddock versus Kazuya. And I think that is scheduled for 8 a.m. on Saturday morning Eastern. So wake up early for that one. Definitely much more of a friendly time for the European viewers. But yeah, catch that one if you can. That should be a really good race. And then the quarterfinals will start soon after. So until then, we will see you guys next time.